All right, so a couple days ago on Twitter, I went ahead and I put a poll out. I said, would you play other maps if they had recall towers? Now, usually when I do these polls, I have an idea, right? I have an idea when I ask these questions, when I do this polling, I have a good idea what the poll is, what the outcome of the poll is going to be. When I asked this question about recall towers, I was thinking about 60-40. 60% in favor of recall towers on other maps and people being more likely to play those other maps versus Erangel. And I was thinking 40% would say no, because there's a huge base to this game that is all about, the whole old PUBG thing. To my surprise, look at the percentage of this poll. Over 81% said yes. Only 18% said no, that they would still basically just play Erangel and not the other maps. The update 2.8 is going to be massive. There's going to be a huge shift in the way people play this game and what the future of the game is going to be. Because if you haven't guessed by now, yes, Miramar is getting recall towers. I never thought in a million years this would happen. I've always thought they've wanted to just kind of funnel players to one specific map, to bring down wait time. And to my surprise, and I imagine everybody's surprise, recall towers are going to be expanding to Miramar, which is huge. So we're also going to be checking out the FAMAS. I have a lot of thoughts on the FAMAS I want to go over with you guys. Before we jump into it, huge shout out to Siri, who went ahead and sent us this footage. Could not get into a beta match to save our lives. Couldn't get into a duo, couldn't get into a squad. He was lucky enough to record this, and he did a phenomenal job. I'll have his channel down in the description. Make sure you guys go ahead and show Siri some love. So, wait till you guys see how many recall towers are going to be on Miramar. There's going to be more recall towers on Miramar than Erangel. Look at this. Look at this, dude. Look at how many freaking recall towers. Look at this. And same thing with Picado. This is going to be so active, this recall tower, because everybody's dropping Picado. So that's interesting how they did that. So they don't have recall towers in any of the direct towns. They're all kind of on the outskirts, which makes sense because like Pochinki doesn't have a recall tower actually in Pochinki. It's over kind of by Church. So it does kind of make sense. But anyway, there's going to be a recall tower for everybody on this map. Outside of any major town, or even some of the smaller ones. I mean, look, Junkyard basically has a recall tower inside of it. So this is going to be exciting. This, just to answer the question myself, this will make me 10 times more likely to want to queue up. Not only because there's recall towers, you get a chance at a second life, but because there's recall towers, the matchmaking wait time is going to be a lot less. So look at this. Look at this. Are you looking at the screen right now? That's a recall tower. This is crazy, dude. I just didn't think that this was ever going to be in the game. On other maps. You get the recall on Noosa. You get the automatic recall if you're doing one of the event modes, obviously Livik and Erangel, and for the Dragon Ball Z for Sonic, there's an automatic recall. But the fact they put recall towers in, this will be the most interesting comment section. I'm gonna read them all because I really want to know if I'm alone on this. Is this an L or a W? Just be honest with yourself. Let's go ahead and start the conversation. Again, just my opinions. This is good for the game. It's good for the game because it's going to get people. There's 7 maps in the game. People forget, and it's not that I'm anti-Erangel. It's just, in 5 years, some people are just still only playing Erangel for 5 years. To me, that's just crazy. It's crazy talk. And at least now people will start experiencing other maps. You know what I mean? And it's just overall, it's just good for the game. Just the overall quality of the game. To get people playing other maps, experiencing different game styles. So check this out, gameplay styles. So oddly enough, the first crate that he goes to, look what's in the crate, ladies and gentlemen. The FAMAS is in the crate. Now, I already watched this, I already watched this all the way through. And we're gonna talk about it. Again, it's beta. You just have to see it. You have to see it. You have to see it to believe it. When the FAMAS first went into the crate, or when we heard it was coming in the crate, we were like, okay, FAMAS is gonna be totally overpowered. It's gonna be super overpowered. It's gonna get a massive buff. They're gonna nerf the AUG into the dirt, and rip AUG. Again, it's beta. I haven't spoken to him about his sensitivities. Beta is not the perfect thing. It's wild. It's nothing compared to global. I don't know what his settings are, but I've played with Siri. He's a very, very good player. He has a lot of knowledge in the game, and he knows how to play. He knows how to control recoil. So, okay, so that was standing, right? So now he's going to go ahead and crouch down, reduce recoil. It still has a massive, massive kick to it. The kick on the first round, or the first couple rounds, it's like it goes northeast every time. It's a huge kick. You guys are going to see it, in the rest of this video, or this clip right here. So I was thinking it's going to be mid-range. Look, this is him standing. Look at that. Okay, notice that this is very, very important. It's very subtle, but very, very important. Notice the kick. Notice he just fires one round. He fires one round, and watch what the reticle does on the scope. Just watch it. Bro, that is crazy. That kick animation is wild. I don't care if you have gyro or not. I don't think he's on gyro. But whether you're on gyro or not, that first shot fired, you'll not be able to combat that. Okay? Watch how he fires a couple rounds. Watch. See how it kicked up? It did the exact same thing he did on the first round, did the exact same thing here. It kicked up. Again, in his defense, I don't know about his sensitivities. That same thing, it kicked up. What I'm gonna guess here off this, we don't know the damage. My guess is, what I thought it was from the very beginning in my first update 2.8 video. The FAMAS is still going to be a predominantly a CQC weapon that could have potential to be mid-range. It's not going to be it's not going to have the recoil profile of an M4 or the recoil profile of a Scar L, or definitely not the AUG, right? Which the recoil, it was basically non-existent. That's what a lot of people were kind of thinking was going to happen with the FAMAS. It was going to be super overpowered, a lot of fun to use. What I'm seeing here is it seems like it's absolute trash, honestly. But again, it's beta. I've played beta for years. It's not the best, nor would I expect it to be. It's just beta. But the recoil is absolutely horrendous on the weapon. I can't imagine someone choosing the FAMAS over like the UMP. Why? What would be the point? Or the Uzi, or a Groza. You fire up a flare and you have the option to pick a Groza. There's a Groza and a FAMAS in the crate. I can't imagine let me go ahead and pick up the FAMAS. Like, said no one ever. It seems like it's going to be the same trend, and I was hoping it wouldn't be. I wanted to be surprised, like we were with the UMP when the UMP got a buff to the moon, and everybody was using the UMP, even the Chinese pros. So same thing here. Watch, standing. Is he standing? No, he crouches down. Look at that. Look at that, dude. That's not him. That's not him not knowing how to control recoil, because going back to that other clip, where the hell is it? Going back to this clip, he fires one round. How do you control recoil on one bullet? You get what I'm saying? Look at this animation. There's no way. Look at it. And he's crouched. It did it both times right there. So, maybe if he gets into another match, I really want to see what they've done to the AUG. Even if the AUG got nerfed, like say they knock off a couple damage, a couple damage points off the AUG, if it still has the same recoil profile, maybe the AUG, will still be very viable. Maybe the AUG is going to be a direct competition to the M4. Maybe they keep the same recoil profile, but maybe, knock off, a couple, points off of the base damage. So anyway, what do you guys think, man? Recoil towers on Miramar, the FAMAS is still trash.